All right, we've got head coach Nadine Muzerall, players Jenn, Gardiner, and Jenna Buglioni. Coach, if you want to start with an opening statement, and then we'll go to questions.
Absolutely. We're very excited to be hosting for the third year in a row here at the Ice Rink. And, it says a lot about the growth of hockey in Columbus when our tickets sold out within 3 hours. I think that's important for people to know because when I first started here 8 years ago, it'd probably be my family and the players' families. And to see the growth of the game in Columbus and the immense amount of support we get from fans and from the band and student section is very, very heartfelt. And these girls do a lot of work behind the scenes that they don't get credited for, but they really have done all the right things this year to be in this place that they deserve. We are playing Duluth for a sixth time. The bracket is what it is. We can't control that. It's just, would have been exciting for both teams if it was just a different team. But it's the straw that we picked or was picked for us, and we just got to roll with it. But, Duluth is always a strong opponent, and it's going to be hard to try to beat a team for the sixth time and go 6 for 6. So we realize that. And we realize that their goaltending is very strong, and if they go with who we think, she had a great game against us last time and held us to just one goal with 5 minutes left. And so we're aware, as much as they are aware, of our tendencies. So it'll be a good fight tomorrow night.
Nadine, obviously the last game didn't go the way that you would have wanted it to. Just what do you think went wrong in that game, and how have you seen the team respond this week? Respectfully,
we're over that. Honestly, I'm not even talking about Wisconsin anymore.
How important is that to just put that game in the back burner and just focus?
You have to. If you want to be a D1 athlete and try to get a ring, you have to understand how hard that is. And if you keep dwelling on the past, you're getting inside your own head. It was nothing physical with us. It was mental. And I think we played a little more afraid to lose than go after them. And that was our learning moment. And that's, to answer your question, and that's what we learned, is it's our game to lose. We gotta go out and act with a little more swagger that we are number one.
Jenna, I mean, this is a stage you guys have been on before. Obviously, this is something that you guys are used to. I'm curious. I mean, for whether it's the transfers into this program for the first time or freshmen, how do you explain kind of what it feels like to play in an atmosphere like an NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think our program has always just had that mentality and that leadership coming from Coach Muzz and just captains in the past that you kind of just get on board and get with the program right away, and that's something that starts with our culture. And I think that all of the new girls and all the transfers are obviously eyes wide open, making it to the tournament for some of their first times, and are just really excited to get playing in this postseason. And I think are just really excited for the group that we have and to have an opportunity to be the number one seed in this tournament. And to have kind of the opportunity to go for another one here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it stems from our culture and just making sure that we take every day as an opportunity to get better and to push ourselves and have fun with each other. Our locker room is a great place to be. So I think this is the best time of the year, and we're all so excited to get going here in the NCAA tournament.
And Nadine, Nadine, one of the things that you told me in the past was, this is one of the more skilled teams that you've coached. And I'm curious, when you see skill like this, what does it look like to kind of, turn that skill, that potential into production when it matters most?
Well, although we have a lot of skill, a lot of these young women have not been in this position before. For some of them, that was the first time they ever won anything, when we won the Julianne By Cup. And so for some of them, it was such a gratifying experience, which is great. And that was awesome that we accomplished that. But most that are these high-level skilled athletes haven't been to, the national championship, not necessarily the game, like the tournament. And so I think that that's one thing that we have to understand is where the leadership and Jenn, Jenna, and Lauren Bernard come from is you have been here, and that's a big weight captains have to carry, is to elevate their excitement but calm their nerves at the same time, so you're still able to perform under that pressure and not get too high or too low. You have to find that rhythm, and I think that they have the capability of doing it. And to your question earlier, like motivation, so I think that's a lot of weight on the culture, which is fine. Like that's what is our grassroots and what we stand strong within.
Nadine, a quick follow-up to that. I know you're focused on the next game, but you've coached a lot of great teams. What does this team possess that they have the ability to make it all the way?
Sure, great question. I did coach a team. I was an assistant, but they went undefeated. And I'm telling you, if we went toe-to-toe with them, I really still would choose this team today. And the reason is the depth. Like we had a couple strong lines when I was with the Gophers during that era, and then it was a long time ago. And then now it's just honestly what opponents say about us and what I recognize as to the naked eye. You don't even have to be a skilled coach or hockey fan to see our first line to our fourth line is not much difference. And so the fact that we can keep pushing out 4 lines says something. Also, our top point players in the country are like ranked 15th, and they're all within like a point or 2 of each other. So when you're going to play against us, what line or what player are you going to shut down to eliminate opportunities? And I think that that's what makes us unique is you can't just shut down 1 or 2 key players because the next wave is just as dangerous. And especially when we're getting a lot of point production from our defensemen. Hadley is up there for one of the most points in the country for a D, and Caleb Barnes has a plus 67. It's like unheard of. Still very shocking. No one made the top 10, but we're going to use that as motivation too.
Jenn and Jenna, for you too, how big is it to have home ice advantage for the first game, especially against a very familiar opponent for you guys?
I think it's really exciting. I mean, for myself, it's my last game in this rink, so it's a bittersweet feeling ending out my career in the OSU Ice Rink. Getting to play my last home game, and a lot of people wouldn't think that much of our rink, but it really is a special place. So I think just to have that home ice advantage, have our friends and family, have the band, have the support from our entire athletics department, it's going to be super special. And like you said, just having the home ice advantage, I think any team is at kind of a good advantage with that step, and we're really excited to not have to travel and just be in our own beds at night, and it's truly going to be a good weekend.
Yeah, like Coach Muzz said, having the rink sell out in the first 3 hours is huge for us. I believe we have the best fans in the land, and having the band in our rink, it's kind of like an atmosphere like no other. It gets loud in there. Sometimes it's even hard to hear ourselves talk, but we're just so excited. People want to see the product that we're putting on the ice, and to have a lot of little girls come and watch. Like, the sport is growing, so that's a big thing for us, is just having our family, our friends, and all the people that want to support us there and trying to get the win for them.
This is for either of you. How do you mentally prepare for this game, considering you guys have had success against Minnesota Duluth, but this is a tournament, so it's a different kind of mindset of postseason. How do you mentally attack that?
I think just knowing that it's do or die, tomorrow's not guaranteed, especially with how many seniors we have on our team, like putting it all in that jersey for them, knowing that tomorrow is not a guarantee and that we need to put our best product on the ice to try to make it to the next round. But preparation, like from our side, we've been preparing pretty similarly as the season has gone on, like just ramping up the intensity and focusing on the little details like our special teams and D-zone. Those are going to be things that are going to help us win the game. So, yeah, doing those little things.
Jenn and Jenna, you've both been a part of the national championship team here. What gives you confidence that this year's team could be capable of making the same kind of run?
I think we've just been building every single year. Like Coach Muzz said, this is the most skilled team that we've had so far, and I think that we have a really special group, and it's going to come down to those key moments, those special teams, the D-zone, the bounces in those games, and I think we're all really confident just given the season that we've had, but we know it's going to be a dogfight every single game, and we kind of talk about the season being in 3 chapters, the regular season, the conference playoffs, and then the national playoffs. So I think that this weekend, it's basically a clean slate between us and Duluth, and we're ready to go to war out there.
Nadine, I know you've had Reagan at net over the past 4 games or so. Amanda kind of led you guys last year during the tournament run. I'm just curious where you guys stand in terms of at goalie and kind of what you expect from, I guess, whether it be Amanda or Reagan here the next.
I'll never tell. You'll see tomorrow.
Nadine, you mentioned playing Bulldogs 6 times, but I feel like this is kind of like life in the WCHA, right? Those teams you see in the regular season, you're going to have to go through again at this level. But your experience through these runs, how different are these NCAA tournament games compared to maybe when you see a WCHA rival in the final face-off or regular season?
Well, Jenna just said it. It's do or die, and everything's on the line, and you're saving it for nothing. You're trying to end not just someone's season, but possibly their career. And for some, like Jenn here, 5 years, it's special. You know, relationships that they've built amongst their teammates and coaches and their staff. So you're about to take that from somebody. That's very hard to do. Even if you technically are the stronger team, it's a lot harder to coach and to play against a team with will and determination than a team with skill, right? Because you know what you expect with the skill, but it's hard to measure somebody's determination and grit and relentlessness when everything is on the line. And so we talk about that as well. Like if we can combine the two, I think we will be untouchable. But you have to understand that they have their relentlessness and their determination as well. So I think that, when it comes to the NCAA, the reason why we see teams in our conference 6 times is because we're that good, our conference. And if we weren't that strong, you wouldn't have seen them so many times, right? So, it's just a kudos to our conference, and there was also St. Cloud knocking on the door as well. So at one point, there were our top 5 in our conference were the top 10 in the country. And then you're playing them 4 to 6 times. So I think the good thing about our league is it prepares us for this postseason.